Ferrari is one of the teams bringing a sizable improvement package to Barcelona. But the Maranello team is concentrating on some of the key problems that have made the F23 difficult to drive. However, the scale of the improvements they're bringing to Barcelona is presenting the exact opposite tale, while everyone is skeptical that the team can make the transition from barely finishing on the podium to winning races in 2023. Ferrari's significant upgrade package, which it will use at the Spanish Grand Prix, is intended to do more than just increase the maximum performance of its Formula One vehicle. However, the design resembles something we've seen before at Red Bull, as well as the other rivals. The 2023 season didn't get off to Ferrari's ideal start. They only managed to place on the podium once in Azerbaijan and were absolutely dominated in Australia. Ferrari, as opposed to Mercedes, was familiar with the technological requirements from the start, and this was demonstrated repeatedly during the course of the previous season. However, the significant reorganization of the technical personnel and the leadership introduced new difficulties that the team is currently battling. As a result, Barcelona will be the first track where we witness Ferrari's 2023 challenger in its improved form. In favor of a downwash setup like Red Bull, Ferrari is abandoning its long-standing in-wash sidepod concept. The sidepods that the new Ferrari is using have been completely redesigned as seen in our photos. The central bathtub section, present on Ferrari cars from the beginning of 2022, is gone with the new design. They feature a top surface that is more horizontal, which helps the air flow into the diffuser area. This is based on the Red Bull idea, which the Milton Keynes team employed to boost the RB19's performance, and which has since been embraced by several other teams. In order to guide airflow to the back section of the floor and Coke bottle region, the Ferrari downwash ramp version, like those from Alpine, Aston Martin, and Mercedes, features a water slide gully on top of the bodywork. Ferrari has been the only team to compete against Red Bull in any way thus far in Baku in 2023. After the Monegasque driver's terrible finish from last year, may Leclerc win the Spanish GP this year? Due in large part to the fact that the car has been all over the place, the Ferrari Challenger for 2023 has proven to be a very challenging beast to tame. Although it was first believed that the mechanical components were the ones giving the engineers the most trouble back at the factory, the current season has demonstrated that the aerodynamic idea is also something that has to be addressed. Engineers are still confident that the changes will improve the SF23's balance and consistency throughout the race, even at single lap speeds. The simulator's data indicates that there is cause for hope. Ferrari has maintained a portion of its original sidepod DNA, but its intended use has probably been greatly altered, as seen by the persistence of the intake, undercut, and S-shaped chassis duct. To disclose the outside of the mirror body, the upper slat of the mirror that houses the surrounding furniture has been cut down. Ferrari's decision to reconsider sidepod concepts stems from the company's need to comprehend why their car performs so well in short races, but struggles over longer ones. Carlos Sainz declared this on the press conference. "This upgrade is not going to change our life from one race to another. It's the first step of many steps to come still." Carlos Sainz is going to enjoy the wonderful racing weekend, win or no win. In Barcelona, the Ferrari driver is racing at his home race. The Spaniard talks about the track's significance to him and what the Italian racing team might expect from Ferrari's advancements. "There are a lot of good memories even from when I was a kid, when I was 10 years old and I came here for the first time to meet Fernando. I met Michael. I saw Ferrari for the first time," Sainz said. "And 18 years later to be actually driving here as a Ferrari driver with the options of at least trying to get a podium or a win. It's something really, really special." The Spaniard acknowledged that he consistently appears to do somewhat better in his home country than in other Grands Prix. "I am just in a better mood when I race at home and I do things with more interest. I do things with a bit more energy." Ferrari has updated its car in Barcelona. What effect will it have? "We are planning an upgrade. Only time will tell how successful it will be. It's a bit of a new direction, a bit into what we believe should be the right path into developing this car and making it a bit more of a drivable car, more consistent, better in the race that we know is our main weakness. You've seen it hasn't been an easy start to the season, and we've been struggling, but it is true that with this first step into this direction, we try and correct the deficiencies we have, but we also know that this upgrade is not going to change our life from one race to another. It's the first step of many steps to come still. Vasseur claims that the car's base remains intact, despite Ferrari's expectations for more changes beyond this package. I hope we will do a step forward in Barcelona for sure, but it won't be the end of the development of the car. We have updates for the next 2-3 races coming in after this one. The fact that the car performs well on one circuit and fails to do so on the upcoming weekend shows that the inconsistency is something that could definitely kill Ferrari's championship hopes if they're still in the game at this point of the season. However, there is a great deal of promise in the future for everyone involved in Formula One, not just Ferrari supporters. New racing suspension, Sidepods, and floor inspired by Red Bull. Without a certain, the floor is something that not just Ferrari, but also the other teams will concentrate on in great detail. They can now clearly identify where the RB19 has an edge because they were able to acquire a clear picture of it. Ferrari, however, has been the only team to be roughly on level with Red Bull in terms of the amount of downforce needed for the vehicle and straight-line speed. It appears that reliability concerns have become a bottleneck and have led to the team's current situation. Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari driver, said that there wouldn't be any big miracles or massive change from what is likely to be the start of a steady shift in development direction rather than a significant in-season concept switch like Mercedes. At the moment, the thing is, we have an extremely peaky car that in qualifying, on one-lap pace with new tires, the wind that we know exactly, we know how to drive the car, it's okay. As soon as we go a little bit out of those conditions, the car we lose so much downforce overall. We have been working a lot on that on this new car. So this should help us to not gain that much performance, but at least be a bit more consistent throughout the weekend, which will hopefully help us to have a better result on the Sunday. Ferrari has all the potential to overtake the competition and claim the title in 2023, if Barcelona's most recent enhancements prove to be genuine. People don't seem to realize how good the Ferrari car is right now, and that the team's poor performance isn't a result of the car itself, but rather of other outside factors that could happen to any outlet at that. This is true regardless of how far-fetched a scenario that might have seemed at this point. It's really important, especially because Barcelona is known for probably the best track to understand exactly where you are with the car. So I think it's really good to have these new upgrades here and to understand where are we, and so we can confirm still our weaknesses, I think, in our mind. Even though we've had very different tracks, it's very clear for us where we need to work. And that is mostly on race pace and having a car that is a bit easier to drive. And now, I think, is the perfect track to see whether this upgrade is going in the right direction, Leclerc said. Vasseur did acknowledge, though, that there is a noticeable difference in the car's competitiveness over one lap and a racing stint, and that the development emphasis has been on the balance shifts from corner to corner, let alone lap to lap or over a stint. Leclerc said that these additional components should also determine if Ferrari has identified the cause of its discrepant Saturday-Sunday performance. He also expressed the expectation that the adjustments will offer a more relevant evaluation of Ferrari's deficit. For quite a long time, we didn't really know where it was coming from, said Leclerc. We started to understand where it's coming from, and we are putting our effort into it. Whether this will crystallize once it's on track, we will see. But as of right now, it appears like the SF23 performance in Barcelona held a lot of potential. Will it be sufficient to provide a twist in a season that is dominated by Red Bull? We believe that this weekend will provide us with all the solutions we need. Thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy the racing.